Good morning, John. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me to offer your perspective on a police brutality case out of Idaho Springs, Colorado. That's over in Clear Creek County. So, a quick overview of the case. In June 2022, a young man, Christian Glass, 22 years old, got his car stuck and called 911 for help. When authorities arrived, though, he remained in his car. He said he was afraid. And then after an hour or so, he was forcibly removed from the car and ultimately shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy. Now, the young man's parents say he was having a mental health crisis that day. A lot went wrong with this case, and his parents ultimately ended up working with an attorney to reach a $19 million settlement with the agencies that responded to their son's call. So, John, you've handled police brutality cases and civil rights complaints in the past. What was your initial reaction when you heard about the settlement, which I think is one of the largest settlements in state history?
Yeah, I mean, obviously is the thing that really catches your attention. And certainly, and not to undermine that a 20-year-old lost his life, which should never happen in a situation like this. And the interesting thing about this is in addition to the monetary amount of wealth, is the non-monetary settlements that were reached with the agencies.
Do you recall some of the non-monetary pieces of this settlement, and are they unique?
One is a memorial park that's going to be created in the area. And, anytime you have a memorial park, I know from my experience, you wonder who the person is. And I think that can help keep that person's memory alive and what happened alive. One of the elements was a virtual reality training program that's put in place. And like anything, the more practice you have and experience you have in these situations, I think more likely it is you're going to be able to respond appropriately when and if that time comes up. And I think there's also another one that is geared specifically towards interacting with people who are having a mental crisis.
So, how do you think this case could affect future police brutality lawsuits?
I think looking towards not just how to compensate the families for the loss or the victims for what happened to them, but looking prospectively in terms of how can we find ways to bring change, because awareness will, making sure that you bring these things to the public eye is always important, but creating a process through which future other officers might get retraining. I think that's certainly, hopefully, going to be something that people will look for. And I know in my practice, I'll be doing that as well.
Well, hopefully, these types of policies will reduce incidents like this in the future. Thanks so much, John, for your perspective on this case.
Of course, anytime.